actually live again. Think about this, family. Think
Mm.
about this. We was just live just a minute ago. Then we was live a minute ago. It
Yeah.
feels like we just been live all day, man.
All
God,
day,
dang, I almost
man.
messed my whole little intro up. What's up with you guys? This is your boy West Coast, and we are live again. Once again, we are live in the building. And man, you guys already know it's Tuesday. So every Tuesday, I go out there and I find the baddest beard in the game, and I bring him on here, and we sit down here, and we have an educated, but very, very delusional, very, very fantastic, very factual base very, very. What's the most synonyms? Y'all put some synonyms in the comment box for what this show really is. You know what I'm saying? But what we do is we just go through everything that we have gone through in this last week from last Tuesday to this Tuesday, man. And I got the king himself, man. My boy, I almost called you Boss Cowboy. My boy, Law Nation, the king of YouTube over there, man. What's up with you, man?
Man, it's a pleasure always jumping in talking football. Hey, I love this because normally this would not be news. This would be week to week of the same thing. But now, man, these week to week of different information for the nation. And I love this, man. Let's get this thing going the best way possible.
Absolutely. And I know why I called you boss because I see him in the comment box. What's up with you, man?
Salute to
Hey, I'm
you,
gonna tell you
man.
this right here. Content creators supporting other content creators is like the new
Hmm.
thing, right? That's like
Yeah.
the new thing, right? Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
like that's like the new thing. Like when you like, I love when I see like when like say LeBron's not playing this week, he'll go down and catch one of his homies' games. You know what I'm saying?
Hmm.
And just be out there like, yeah, we gonna play y'all one day, but today I'm here to
Right.
support you. You know what I'm saying? I like that. Content creators supporting other content creators is the new thing in 2023. You know what I'm saying? Because we gonna take down this. My mom always says like this: you're gonna eat an elephant, you're gonna eat it one bite at a time, but you'll eat it faster if you have a crew. And guess what, man? You guys
Yeah.
outside of us, you have a huge network of cowboy content creators that make sure that you guys are good every single day. And Boss is definitely one of them. So appreciate you, my boy, for the support. All
No,
right.
no doubt, man. The nation never sleeps, and you guys, hey, go ahead and tell them how they can support this thing with the stars, the super chats,
Oh
and the
yeah.
likes and shares. Go ahead, let them know because I love that speech because people fail to realize we're not big networks. We get it out of the mud.
Oh yeah, and I'm gonna tell you this right now. We get it out the mud. Yes, man, I love that part. But hey, let me tell
Mhm.
you this too. There is this misconception because the internet is free that all this stuff that we be doing is absolutely free and don't cost us nothing. And I'm gonna tell y'all this right now. We make it look like that because of what? Because of people like you, people who support and support this content. And I'm gonna tell you this right now. There's these two things. Actually, it's about three, four things, and they all start with an S. The first thing we need you guys to do, and like my boy landlord said, will not charge a card if you do this. You know what I'm saying? All you got to do is hit that share button. Now, the share button, listen to me, that's like paying your taxes. Everybody got to do that. I don't give a dang if you got $1.
Mhm.
Uncle Sam needs 33 cents. And if you got a million, Uncle Sam need his 330,000. You
Yeah.
feel me? So listen, I need you guys to understand that hitting that share button, that's like paying your taxes. Everybody, no matter if you're rich or poor, you got to hit that share button. You know what I'm saying? So I need
Mhm.
every single person right now that is under the sound of my voice right now to hit that share button. All right. Now,
Yes,
this is what I'm
indeed.
gonna also do. I'm gonna give you about five, about
Mhm.
four, about three, about two, about one. All right. Now, in that
Mhm.
time, you should have
Woo!
hit that share button at least.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm four.
Even if you don't like us, be like sharing it to your other haters. Like
Yeah.
these two boys, I can't stand West Coast. I can't stand Law Nation. I can't share that to. I love the haters too. So y'all hate
Hey,
share.
for real.
You know.
Hey, listen to me. Hey, listen to me. I'm gonna tell you
Yeah.
this right now. I'm gonna tell you this right now because I know there's some Cowboy fans that don't even like West Coast. I'm gonna tell you this right now. If you really listen to me, if you really want to piss West Coast off, you really want to, if you a real hater, man, you'll share the content to another hater, man. I'm
Right.
just
You
saying, man.
can't believe this dude. West Coast said this.
Damn. Hey, my next, I'm gonna tell you this right now, Cowboy Nation and West Coast Cowboys supporters, we will have our sound effects up by next week. We will not be defeated. We will not. We will not be our soundboard. Okay.
Yes, indeed. Let's go. Let's get
He hit you with the
it.
damn. I heard it too. I heard it too. That was smooth. I liked it that. All right. But yo, man, enough. Hey, listen, let's go ahead now. Listen, I'm gonna say your name. as I say your name, I need you to either hit the share button. Now, the next thing is called stars and super chats. Really, really straight to the point. They're the exact same thing. The only difference is super chats is for YouTube, stars is for Facebook. It's the exact same thing. And guess what? We use that content for the same thing. So this is what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna go through here as I say your name. I need everybody to hit the share button because that's paying your taxes. Then I need everybody that's able to hit that star button. Now, what I'm gonna do is I'm over. I got my page over here on Facebook. I got up. I'm gonna say what's up to a couple people over here that's been helping paying these bills, keeping these lights on, and folks know I appreciate them. You know what I'm saying? And then I let you shout out a couple people over there on Law Nation, man. I'm gonna tell you now. One of the advantages, I'm gonna tell you this right here. One of the advantages of having your notification is Law Nation got like damn near 100,000 people on there. So he got a lot of people that support him, right? And that's how it's supposed to be. So you got to make sure you get your notifications on, because if he don't say your name, it's not because he ain't support, it's because you weren't first. So get your notifications on so you can get that shout out. You feel me? Make sure your notifications on. All right, so let me go through this real quick. Craig, what's up with you, boy? I appreciate you, man. John, what's up with you, John? What's up with you, man? Appreciate you, John, for always tapping in, my guy. Roderick, what's up with you, Roderick? Appreciate you, my guy. Darren, hey, what's up with you, OG? Appreciate you, sir. OG, right down the street from me too. Hey, let me know if is it raining where you at, OG? It's raining down here.
Yeah, a little rain over here.
It's raining it's raining in Texas.
Yeah, it's raining in Dallas. Crazy weather.
We got crazy weather right now too. Okay, I heard that.
Yeah.
One in a quarter.
And it's crazy because now the Cowboys are doing free agent moves, trades, and stuff like that. So yeah, it needs to rain. Rain, there's good stuff over here in Cowboys world.
Right? Yeah, like wash all the bad stuff out of here. You know what I'm saying? Hey, shout out to my boy. How about them Cowboys? Mike DC4L, Texas T, Tyrone Church. Appreciate you. And what's up, Keith? What's up, my boy? Me and Mr. McPherson. Hey, congratulations on the new baby on the way too, man. I see you out there.
The nation growing. Yeah.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And he for sure gonna have a Cowboy baby because he threw it through. You feel me? Shout out, hey Law. I know you got a couple people over there. Show them some love, man. We gonna
all right. Content. We got Debo Harmony, and then Hallelujah. I appreciate you guys, man. I'm gonna just give shouts out to those two. They were the first ones in here, so let me know that they are part of the notification squad. Hey, your mods, man, y'all continue to do y'all thing, and salute to all of the Facebook gang. Yeah.
Shoot, man, I heard that, man. Let's get straight into it, man. Listen to me. Dallas Cowboys have not been acting like your typical Dallas Cowboys. Praise God, right? Like we have been going, like I feel like I've been doing just as much content right now as I was doing probably during regular season. You know what I'm saying? Right. I feel like more stuff is happening right now. And to be honest with you, truth be told, it probably is more stuff going on right now. So between now and last week, let's just kind of go on and talk about what is happening. I don't think last week Zeke had been released since then. Had that happened?
No, Zeke haven't been released. So they released Ezekiel Elliott. They made it a post June 1 cut, right? Something like that. And then they just added today Ronald Jones, and then now we have an offensive lineman.
I'm gonna let you try
Chuma Edoga. And they added Brandon Cooks on the team over here. And who else I'm missing out? They did something else.
We traded
Gilmore. Did we do the Gilly?
No, we hadn't. I think Gilmore was right before that, and then Zeke was like the very next. It was like on that Wednesday, so that's why we missed the Zeke. But we can just talk about the stuff that's relevant and just kind of mash it all up like we do. You know what I'm saying? Like we do. So let's talk about this Ronald Jones, man. I ain't gonna lie. I used about 4:00 this morning. It was a little bit about 6, 7 o'clock this morning. I was watching your video, and it's crazy because I didn't even notice until after I turned the video off that you actually said at the top of the video that this is my video from last year. I gotta read more.
Oh, you talking about Chuma?
Yeah, no, it was the Chuma video, the one that
yeah. He's a converted tackle that can play guard, got good hands. He was drafted in the 3rd round. And he got a little power size to him. I like what he can do from a guard spot. I think that the Cowboys are looking at someone that's versatile, right? That can be either a swing tackle or a swing guard. Why not bring in somebody with those type of techniques and skill sets, just in case if Tyron Smith goes down, you can kick Tyler Smith back at left tackle, and then you will have Chuma right there. This doesn't mean that the Cowboys are not looking into the draft. I think that they would still utilize the draft to fill in that voided spot too.
Yeah, and I mean, one thing I like, listen to me. I think at this point of free agency, there's gonna be names that you don't agree with. But the number one thing I want to stress is, do you agree with the positions? And I agree what the Cowboys are doing as far as the positions and what the Cowboys are doing as far, because they have basically thrown some type of band-aid or something at each hole. Now, guess what? Some band-aids are going to hold. Some band-aids are going to not. It's going to bleed through. You know what I'm saying? But at least they put something. And I love the fact that they're trying. It almost feels like the Dallas Cowboys are at least trying to have a body at every hole so that they don't have to be in a need. Because, you know, as much as we did sign Ronald Jones today, a 1-year deal. I know him more from college. You know, I stopped kind of following him when he got drafted to the Buccaneers. But I followed him a lot when he was at USC because I'm a USC fan. And to be honest with you, like, I feel like he probably had a better college career than he has had an NFL career.
Yeah. Hold on, right quick. I gotta take this call. All right.
Go ahead. I have, in my opinion, I feel like he has probably had a better college career than he had an NFL career. And if you go look at his stats, man, he's 65 games that he's played in the NFL where he's been registered to be able to play in the NFL. And he's only started 25 of those games. You know what I'm saying? So unfortunately, family, this is definitely a guy that the Dallas Cowboys is looking to be a backup running back. And I'm going to tell y'all this right here. What's up with you, Pull Up Harris? I see you, boy. I just got off the phone with you. I'm going to tell you guys this right here. The Dallas Cowboys, technically, in my opinion, cannot run a 2 running back system until you have 2 legitimate running backs. Like, the Dallas Cowboys didn't use a Tony Pollard that wasn't unproven. When they decided to make Tony Pollard and Ezekiel Elliott as a tandem, they had a very healthy dose of both guys. Like, they understood very much who each guy was. I don't think that you can do that with Ronald Jones and Tony Pollard. Like, you don't know enough about Ronald Jones to think that he's going to be able to carry the load 14 times a game and then come out of there with 860 yards. I'm going to tell you this right now. If, Randall Jones, I keep calling him Randall, but Ronald Jones, he has had a 900-yard season. He had in 2020 in the COVID year. He was also, he started 5 more extra games due to injury. But like I said, man, even that season, he got those reps simply because someone got injured. You know what I'm saying? And then the next year, they relegated him right back to being a backup running back. So, me personally, it's hard. Listen to me. If the Cowboys draft a running back, I can almost guarantee that he's probably not going to make the roster, because I don't see the Dallas Cowboys carrying Tony Pollard, Malik Davis, Ronald Jones, Ronald Jones, and the running back that they draft. I don't see the Cowboys legitimately doing that. That's a whole lot. That's 4 running backs. And typically the Cowboys only carry 3. You know what I'm saying? So, it's at this point right now, if the Cowboys draft a running back between 1st and 3rd, then like I said, it's hard for me to even believe that he's going to make this team. You know what I'm saying? Now, on to other things, the offensive guard / tackle that we also signed today. I like, once again, not very impressed by the player. The reason being is because, listen to me. In my book, if I'm replacing a guy that starts and plays X amount of games, it's hard for me to believe that you're going to replace him with a guy who hasn't done that. That's typically not how you want to do that. Typically, what you want to do in the NFL is what's called the mentorship, where you basically have another guy under him and they mentor them. And then when it's obvious that that young guy is ready to take that next role, then you move on. Most teams don't just move on without knowing, because it's too much of a gap. But what's up with you, Law? See you, man.
Yeah, man, I'm back, man. When you get those phone calls, you never know, man, when you got sick people in the house.
Oh, yeah.
So everything is okay.
Oh, yeah, you good.
Got 2 back-to-back calls, and but what were you saying? What were we going over?
I'm talking about, Ronald Jones, you know what I'm saying? Like, You know, I mean, my thoughts is this: if the Cowboys draft a running back, I feel like it's almost impossible that he even makes this team. You know what I'm
Oh,
saying?
the drafted running back, it depends on which round, now we all need camp bodies. I truly believe in 2016 we had 6 running backs to make the team. And then, you have those game day decisions whether or not you're going to roll out 2, 3, or what have you. And I look back at this, a lot of times the Cowboys, due to Ezekiel Elliott never been hurt, they relied on him and Tony Pollard. So that's why they could utilize 2 running backs for the last 2 or 3 years. Think about that, because of they knew for a full fact that Zeke don't get hurt, right? You got Wolverine blood. Tony Pollard, he was that guy that comes in and relieve Ezekiel Elliott, and they didn't really rely on the third running back, nor did we roll out fullback. But the philosophy will be different for the 2023 season. I think that they're going to lean on 3 running backs. And if anybody run running backs to the ground, it will be Schottenheimer. So they bring in Ronald Jones because he's that broom that been around the corner, that knows how to get those corners. And on top of that, he been with Tom Brady. He's been now with Pat Mahomes. So he can prep these guys and let them know, hey, this is what need to be done for the long run versus the short run.
Yeah. Hey man, I can get jiggy with that. I could definitely get jiggy with that because, like I said, like, you know, I keep referring to it. And shout out to Big Wayne. Also, shout out to Chill Bill. I see you over there. One thing I keep referring back to is the Kansas City approach. Like, Kansas City threw as many darts at the board as possible. Yeah. And like I said, like, I'm Mr. Run the damn ball. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
His hats on. I'm Mr. Run the damn ball. So anytime you add a running back to the roster, you guys know I'm all in love and in shape for that. You know what I'm saying? Now, like, that's why I said, like, would I have wanted another name? Yes, there's other names I would have looked at. But am I excited that the Dallas Cowboys didn't allow themselves to get rid of Zeke and then go into the draft? Because I'm not under the impression that the Cowboys are going to draft a running back high either way. You know what I'm saying? Or are they, if they had where they got Rondell Jones or not? I'm not under that impression either. I'm not under the impression that they're going to draft a running back in the first round. So, you know, you are going to need some competition. You're going to need some bodies. And more importantly, man, when you have a spot, you're going to need darts, man. So I feel like the Cowboys, this is the Cowboys just getting as many darts in their hands, getting ready to throw as many darts at these 12 touchdowns and these 870 yards. I know y'all don't care too much about it because it's only, you know, every one of Zeke's touchdowns was from the one. You know what I'm saying? At least that's what y'all told me. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. So think about this. Just about being prepared and ready for the moment. Malik Davis, undrafted rookie last season, stepped right in and said, okay, I can stand tall. Rico Didal, we had high hopes for him to show us something. And then he got injured and got hurt. That's why the off season is a long one. You're going to need camp bodies. You're going to need people to run those sets. And here's the craziest thing about running backs, Wes. The craziest thing about running backs, all of them gonna look good until preseason because you can't hit them. So they're gonna be like, yeah, touchdown. You know, they're gonna get back up, run. You can't hit them. So even they look, Wes, they can put me out there. Yeah. Man, that dude with the beard coming out of the helmet, shoot, that dude looking good out there because they can't hit me. They can't hit me, right? And then when preseason comes, then you'll know whether or not Law got something. And I'm gonna tell you, when you get in your 40s, I know you in your 40s too, probably. Hey, hey, we ain't gonna be able to get right back up, bro.
Heck no. You know what I'm saying? Hey, I be having them days where my body just exactly, your body just shut down, just be like, ugh.
Yeah, I cut grass the other day. Boy. It took me a minute just to roll out of the bed. I said, nah, I'm gonna call Hector now. Yeah.
Yeah, man. And you know, this is another thing, like, you know, there is a lot of things that Ezekiel Elliott did that a lot of fans don't really, I'm not gonna say you don't understand it, but it's just, you know, it's like a mother in the house. You know what I'm saying? There's so many jobs that get done, so many things in the house that you don't realize take place until mom says, oh, I'm going down to such and such house for a couple of days, I'll be back. And then you come home, you're like, man, I'm hungry in the mug. You coming in, you just ready, you sit at the table and you're like, okay, okay, oh damn, what's going on? You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Just you little subtle, it's the little subtle things, right? You
Yeah.
have to have someone that can still have you those subtle things. Now think about this. Cowboys probably did their biggest acquisition of this offseason by trading for wide receiver Brandon Cooks, a guy who's been in the league, 8 years, has 1,000 yards. So
Yeah.
and he's under 30. You know what I'm saying? So miss me with the whole he's washed up stuff. I don't want to hear none of that. You know what I'm saying? And I'm gonna tell y'all something also. Listen, in professional sports, if you can still play at a high level, it doesn't matter how old you are. Tom Brady has proven that. Like, I think Tom Brady has killed the notion of if you were, because he wasn't playing at a high level at 45, but he was playing at a high level at 43. You know what I'm saying? And that's
Father
still,
time.
yeah,
Yeah.
that's still older than anybody else that's playing right now. So
Yeah.
it's not about your age. You know what I'm saying? Let's never use age in football because a lot of these dudes be signing 1 and 2 deals anyway. So it's not even like you're stuck with them anyway. You know what I'm saying? So I mean, let's not even compare that. But
But here's the only thing though, Wes. Football is a world within worlds. Like DB life is different from defensive end life. Defensive end life is different from defensive line. Well, defensive tackle life,
yep,
and then quarterback life is a whole lot different than running back life. So everybody got different shelf lives, and that what makes football such a unique sport because basketball everybody got the same life term almost,
yeah,
and baseball similar. So it's just one of those things. Whereas Tom Brady, he benefited too from the, hey, you can't touch the quarterback, right? You blow on him, flag. So the Cowboys, we don't have that longitude and latitude like that here, but you guys get what I'm saying.
absolutely. Hey, real quick, shout out to Landlord with the $5 super chat. He says, shout out to the two goats, Facebook and YouTube. Appreciate you, my boy Landlord. And shout out to Big Wayne. He says,
Wayne.
we want to let you know he got 3 good plays in him if you need him.
I got you, man. That's all we need, man. Remember D-Jack?
Yeah.
Every time we played against him, he had one good play for us, man, all the way into his 30s and mid-30s or what have you. And he did it a couple of years ago when he played against us with the Raiders. I said, God, dog, that dude has been a thorn in our side. This
Yep.
is what it is sometimes. Sometimes it be that old player that got one good play left in them.
Yep. Hey, shout out to my boy Paul with the $5 with the $4 stars too, and shout out to my boy Kevin over there too. And this is something that I say too, like man, because I think something else that we need to talk about too is like the Dallas Cowboys did not re-sign Dalton Schultz, and Dalton Schultz did sign with the Houston Texans. He signed with
the Houston Cowboys, man.
Yeah, there you go, the Houston Cowboys, basically. I mean, and he did sign a 1-year deal for $9 million. Now, I think it's crazy, right out the gate, we should all know that the Dallas Cowboys do fib. You know what I'm saying? We're not gonna say lie because for some of you guys, lie is such a strong word. So we're gonna just say fib, you know what I'm saying? Because there was a report put out that the Dallas Cowboys had offered Dalton Schultz this contract that was going to make him one of the highest paid tight ends, if not the highest paid tight end in all of football. And then you see him doubling back, taking a 1-year deal for $9 million. It definitely makes you want to say, because think about this, Cowboy Nation. Last year, Dalton Schultz made $10 million on a 1-year franchise tag. So he literally took a $1 million cut to be on a Houston Texan roster. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, what are your thoughts on Dalton? I mean, what are your thoughts on Dalton Schultz not getting re-signed? Let's start with there. What are your thoughts on that?
Once you get paid that money, man, you don't want to get back to not getting paid that money. So that 10 million, man, that hit different than $1-2 million. Now he's looking at it like, okay, now you giving me a multiple year deal. I don't know what the numbers were. I know that some reported that it was kind of nice for him for a 3-year deal, but he probably looked at the language of it and said, man, there's a lot of false numbers at the tail end of it, and I'm not finna play this game. I want you guys to get me some guaranteed money, whereas I can be the king of the castle. There's nothing like as a man walking into your house knowing that if you put something down, it can't be removed or it can't be slid across the table or what have you. And by Dalton Schultz looking back at this, he hear the love and adulations for Jake Ferguson and Peyton Hendershot, and he's not about being in a tight end room by committee. So he want to be the king of his own castle and prove that he is worth every grain of salt. So he's going over to Texan land to be the king of his own castle. And I don't doubt a man betting on himself. $9 million, man, for 1 year. Shoot, put me out there. You know, that's what he's going to make. So, hey, if he double up and do some good stuff, team's going to have to pay him. But right now, he's betting on himself.
Yeah, man. And to be exact, the deal is it's like $6.5 million with incentives up to $9 million. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
So, it can keep that. And I'm going to tell you this right now. I think a lot of fans have gotten this notion that, like, West Coast doesn't like the new guy. He doesn't like the rookies. He doesn't believe in them. Listen, family, like, it's not that I don't believe in these guys, but it's just that, like, I go to training camp, man. And, like, I really, like, go to, like, I go to training camp, right? I watch film. And when you take those two things, means you get to see their start, you get to see their progression throughout the season, right? You understand where a player is, and you understand the delta between where you guys think he has to get. And I'm going to be honest with you, the delta from where he is right now and where he has to get is very, very large to think that that's going to be accumulated in 3 and 4 months, technically. Because we were almost asking for him, because listen to me, I think, and I love projection, but I just think that there's a lot of projection being projected on Ferguson right now. And I'm gonna tell you this right now, what's not gonna be fair is if Ferguson just if he just matures like a regular guy who only played limited snaps in his first year and then goes into his second year. What if he only grows at that rate? You know what's going to happen? You guys are going to crucify him, bro. Because Cowboys, this is what we do. Ferguson hasn't theoretically done anything to get the adulation that we're giving him. The reason why we're doing that is because we're so eager to move on from Dalton Schultz. Why? Because Ferguson, when we think of Kittle and think of these other guys, he's the thing that looks like him. So I feel like he's getting a little bit more push because he's what you guys actually want. It's almost like with Dak Prescott. It's like with Dak Prescott, what happens with Dak and like Justin Herbert. Like Justin Herbert is what you guys really want in a quarterback, but we got Dak. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, you know what I mean? It is what it is. So it's like when me personally, I just want to timestamp this, right? It's March 21st, 2023. And I'm going to say this right now. There is nothing on film right now other than you just having a great deal of just what is the word? Just hope.
Here's what you got out of Ferguson, right? He had right at 170 yards last season, 2 touchdowns, and I believe that was probably about 70 more yards than Hendershot. He had 2 tubs. So we're leaning on the unknown. However, I truly believe that Mike McCarthy can squeeze the best out of those tight ends. Everywhere Mike McCarthy been, he had a pretty decent tight end. And in college, Mike McCarthy played tight end. So if it's tight end that we having worries and reservations on, I would say, man, I'll just lean on Mike McCarthy. He knows how to develop and get tight ends going in the right spot. Now, will Schultz be missed from a setup situation as far as experiences? Yes. But we can all scale it, right? It took Schultz, 3 years to get to where he was at before we start to acknowledge him. So I believe year 1, Jake Ferguson is better than year 1 Schultz. And I know that that's crass to say because that Dak Prescott is not where Dak Prescott is right now. But I would lean on Will McClay. Willie, go find us another tight end if we need. And I'll lean on Big Mike to get these 2 tight ends in the right spots.
The only problem I have, the pushback is,
what's that?
If it don't work out, they're not going to blame Mike McCarthy. They're going to blame Dak Prescott. And then I'm going to be the lonesome content creator saying stuff like, well, you guys are mad at Dak Prescott for throwing all these interceptions. I mean, like, you got rid of Amari Cooper. You did switch out the offensive line. You did do all this other stuff. Like, when it doesn't work, because listen, I go live every day regardless. Like,
right.
We listen to me. I thought I thought Anthony Barr was going to be somewhat good, and he didn't. And I went live after he didn't play well. You know what I'm saying? So we always going to be live. So there's never a problem with that. But I will say this.
But hold on, before you get to that point, I'm gonna say this right now.
Go.
If Dak Prescott need Dalton Schultz to be good, then I'm blaming him right now because you got Brandon Cooks. You're going to have another year out of Michael Gallup coming off of the ACL. He should be a whole lot better than what he was a few years ago or last year, I meant to say. And you got CeeDee Lamb. So if Dalton Schultz is that guy to get Dak Prescott over, man, look, I love Dak Prescott, but this would be me placating to, hey, man, being a Dak Prescott apologist of saying that he can't play well without Dalton Schultz. I would say, bull sugar, Dak, you need to figure out a way to elevate Ferguson and Peyton Hendershot and get things going. There should be no more excuses for Dak Prescott. I'm not going to lean and follow that one.
And this is what I'm going to say. I'm going to kick you some bull sugar boo because guess what? The last two teams that was represented in the playoffs all had really good tight ends. So you're going to tell me that you don't tell me that Patrick Mahomes being probably the best quarterback in football doesn't benefit from having the best tight end in football? Like, bro, like the Eagles have a really good tight end. The 49ers have a backup quarterback, but you know what they also have? A really good tight end. So it's, and I'm going to tell you this right here, right? In a season where you just lost in the second round in the playoffs, man, bull sugar juice. I am not trying to develop anybody. I am trying to win a Super Bowl, man.
I know. Well, hey, they didn't start making tight ends when Dalton Schultz was born. So they better go get Irv Smith. They got some options out here. Irv Smith Jr. I see y'all out there. You know, they do got some options out there. But what I'm saying is right here, right? We need to be in adding things every single year. The Dallas Cowboys take a weapon from Dak and ask Dak to prove himself again. When does Dak when do you just say, F it, man? Give me 50 guns, man. When do you do that, bro? This is what Kansas City does, bro. Kansas City lost one Tyreek Hill. You know what they did? They gave him 4 different receivers. Yeah.
Think about this, every single year since we've paid Dak, we took Amari Cooper. Hey, if Dak is that guy, he can make CeeDee Lamb. CeeDee Lamb can develop. Oh, then the next year, what do you take?
Well, let me ask you this, though. Let me ask you this. So you mean to tell me, Wes, Pat Mahomes won't put up good numbers with the wide receivers and the 2 tight ends we got right now?
Do I think Patrick Mahomes would?
Yeah, with Pat Mahomes.
Man, I'm going to tell you this right here. I don't really know what Patrick Mahomes will do, man, because I can't really.
With CeeDee Lamb, Brandon Cooks right now, and Ferguson.
Let me tell you, their organization is so good. This organization is so good that they protect their core. You don't think that Patrick Mahomes has bad seasons? He has bad seasons, but guess what? Yeah. Because he's surrounded around good players. See, that's the thing. See, this is the thing about Kansas City, and this is why Kansas City is a team that's going to be consistently good, because they don't depend on their great players to be great every single day, because that's not realistic.
I don't know if this is true or not, but Cleveland Browns trading for Jerry Jeudy. Oh, and let me double check.
Amari Cooper, man, that's work, bro.
Roll Tide. Let me see if that's true. Yeah,
that's work. That's work. Amari Cooper and Jerry Jeudy, that's work, bro. That's work.
And David Njoku, huh? They got a tight end.
And I'm gonna tell you this right here. For all y'all folks that like to say Dak needs these all pros, what 2 teams had the most all pros all season last year? What team had 4? There's only 2 teams that had 4 all pros: Kansas City Chiefs and the 49ers. 2 teams, one team was the number 1 overall seed, and the other team was the number 2 overall seed. So guess what? If you want to be in the playoffs and have that consistent playoff run, you gotta have good players. This is not a league. We are in a mindset now where we are literally trying to go with production. No, we need to get as many good players on our team, because that's what everybody else is doing.
Well, let me ask you this though. So how far apart do you see Dalton Schultz from Jake Ferguson?
Keep it real. I don't know.
Okay,
but I'm gonna tell you this right here. The tight end position, the same position that my quarterback has thrown so many touchdowns for, because you got to remember, Dak has thrown more touchdowns to the tight end position than any position in football. So it's like you're asking Dak to now rely on something that's unproven, on something that he actually relies on. Sometimes think about men. If you're married, let's be real. If you're a married man or even a man in a relationship, you ain't got to be married, but you can just be in a man in a relationship, right? If you love your girl, there's some concessions you make.
Right.
You know, to make her happy. Guess what? Maybe you lead a seat up, or maybe you do these types of things. What I'm saying is there are certain concessions that you need to make. Why? Because what I'm noticing is this. Even Tom Brady, when he went to Tampa Bay, the first thing he did was he called up his homeboy Gronkowski and said, "Hey man, come on down here." Like
but those are like night and days, like Gronk versus Schultz.
But guess what though? For Dak though, Schultz is his Gronk though.
Yeah, but I need for Dak to find
my
another.
lady is my Beyonce.
Like, yeah. Your lady is your Beyonce. I get the ledge that the edge of the room that you're standing on, right? I get that. Like Schultz is that guy we've seen. He's the first one at practice, the last one to leave. He is a hard grinder, a hard worker. He developed his game from whatever he was doing his first 2 years to all of a sudden he sparked and did crazy things his third and fourth year. So I get all of that, but at this point, you can't keep them all. They offered him a nice, good contract, allegedly. You know what I'm saying? I don't know what the contract was. Allegedly, they offered him something, and he refused. And now he's gone on, and now we got to sit back and look at Ferguson and Hendershot regime. At this point, I'm looking at it if this dude, Mike McCarthy, can't figure out how to get it done with Brandon Cooks, with Michael Gallup coming back, as well as with CeeDee Lamb. I'm sorry, fam. That's on the head coach. And, of course, you can put it on as well as with Dak Prescott.
Yeah, but I'm going to tell you this, man. All the other teams, what they're doing with their quarterback is they're surrounding their quarterback with as many good players as possible because that is the easiest way. Like you can win a Super Bowl the way the Cowboys do it. It just takes freaking forever. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, as long as y'all don't mind waiting, like how long have we been waiting? Like the 49ers have been to the Super Bowl how many times since we've been there? The Rams have been, listen to me, the Rams have only been in LA freaking 6 years, man. They've been to the Super Bowl twice. You know what I'm saying? You want to know why? Because they're paying for it. They're paying At the end of the day, you pay for it. That's just what it is. Like, you're going to pay for it. You know what I'm saying? So, Dallas Cowboys, my mindset is this. Hey, why not think about this? What makes our tight end room stronger? Because I'm going to tell you this. I'm a gambling man, and I love risk, but this is a gamble I wouldn't take simply because for me, this is like me gambling $50, but if it doesn't work, I have to give you $1,000 because think about this. I'm just saying like this, Law. What if Ferguson isn't as good as Schultz in his first year playing 17 full games?
Right.
What are you going to and think about this. Tight end is not a position that free agents are just floating around there that are actually good. Most good tight ends are on a team or they're in a position of being second. So my question is this, like because think about this, Dalton Schultz, for the last 3 years, he's led your team in first downs. So that means on third down, it's been Dak to Schultz. That's now going to be Dak to Ferguson. What if that does not connect? All I'm saying is, why not keep Schultz to make sure, man, especially in a season where everybody around you is getting better.
But here's the thing. You said that your wife is your Beyonce, right?
Right.
And this is what happened. The Cowboys proposed to their wife. They proposed to her, and then she said no. Like you're acting as if the Cowboys didn't ever asked the offer. You know, they gave him an offer, and he said, "Nah, I'm gonna go out and test someone else."
See, that's not. But see, that's where first off and foremost, I don't believe that's true. You want to know why I don't believe that's true? Because why would Dalton Schultz turn down an offer, making him one of the highest paid tight ends in football, if that's what they offered him, to then take an offer that is only a 1-year deal for $9 million? There is no assurance in a 1-year deal. His agent, think about this, your agent just lost money. His agent wouldn't even leave him. If worst case scenario, you would go back to the table to the Dallas Cowboys and say, hey, I'll take that deal. The Cowboys still have an offer. That is just because listen to me. People act like contracts are like marriage proposals. Like, will you marry me? She says no. Oh, they break up. They're no longer together. But that's not how it happens in contract negotiations. People offer contracts. They say no. You go back and you renegotiate.
Renegotiate it. Yeah.
So listen, and then also you got to think like this. It's also been reported by Jane Slater, and I know y'all don't rock with Fisher over there, but he has a big enough platform for me to quote him. By Mike Fisher, that the Dallas Cowboys hadn't offered anybody a deal. So it's hard for me to believe that Dalton Schultz, under those circumstances, and having a guy, because you got to think the agent's going to get 33%. The agents would want more money. So it's really, really hard for me to believe this. And think about this. This is the last thing I'll tell you on this. You guys remember when Dak Prescott was going through his contract negotiation and they leaked some story about Dak Prescott turning down some deal that would have made him $32 million a year, which ended up being what? Fake and bogus. That's all I'm saying, man. That's all I'm saying. And listen, am I scared? People say, West Coast, you're just scared. I am. I'm absolutely scared. You want to know why? Because the risk does not outweigh the reward in this situation. If Ferguson is not the guy that you guys are saying that he is going to be, we are going to be in a weird situation. And you got to remember, we are not the Kansas City Chiefs, meaning what? When the Kansas City Chiefs make a mistake, you know what they do? Oh, they go pay for it. They're going to fix. When the Dallas Cowboys realize that, damn, maybe we shouldn't have gotten rid of Amari Cooper, you know what they did first? Dennis Houston, Jalen Tolbert, Michael Gallup injured on one leg, T.Y. Hilton at 30, James Washington.
Yeah. Here's the other thing though, Wes, and I agree with all you saying, but that's the expectations meeting the reality. Schultz was on the free market, on the open market. A team could have offered him the sun and the moon. Beyonce on the open market, she would have got the sun and the moon. Keep this in mind, Wes. Schultz was looking for, before he got his first franchise tag, money up there with Travis Kelce and north of Mark Andrews, right? And I believe that the Cleveland Browns, they destroyed the market because they gave David Njoku that money that was sitting right below or right above Dallas Goedert. Schultz was looking for that money. So he played on the franchise tag with hopes to prove that he is up there with those group of tight ends. So on the open market now, the Cowboys said, you know what? If you truly believe that you are Dalton Schultz with the money that Travis Kelce, Mark Andrews, and Dallas Goedert is getting, then we would allow other teams to take a shot at you and we'll match it. Nobody matched it. Then they said, okay, well, and this is like I said, I don't have no tangible evidence, right? I only go off of hearsay. They said that they offered him a $36 million 3-year deal. And he said, you know what? I'll take my money to South. I'll take my money to the south of Texas and go get it done out of Houston. You know what I'm saying? Because y'all being disrespectful to me, and I'm going to show y'all that I am Dalton Schultz that deserve Travis Kelce, Mark Andrews type of money.
This is the thing, Law. I'm going to be honest with you. That sounded good, but I don't believe none of that, bro. I don't believe
but you do believe he was on the open market and anybody could have scooped him up.
I believe he was on the open market, but first off, I don't believe anything about contracts that is only certified by the Dallas Cowboys. Like, listen to me. Doesn't it make sense? Like, I'm asking you a question. Who does it benefit for for that information to be out, that Dalton Schultz turned down a deal like that? Does it benefit Dalton Schultz or does it benefit the Dallas Cowboys? Bro, that benefits the Cowboys way more. Why would Dalton Schultz put that type of information out there, knowing that that's all it's going to do is sour the nation on folks? That's all it is. That's all that's going to do. It's going to sour. That makes no sense. The Dallas Cowboys didn't offer him no deal, just like the Dallas Cowboys didn't offer Tony Pollard a deal. Like, let's just be real. I love Tony Pollard, but we're paying $10 million for a running back with a broken fibula. There are a ton of running backs that have more yards and more stats that are getting either making less money than him or making the exact amount of money as him.
So but you know how it goes, man. Some people in the chat right now, they said if Beyonce on the open market, some people leave their wife and kids to go, hey, you know what, Beyonce? Hey, I'm gonna leave the wife and kids to jump with you. Not me, but there was some people are saying right now in the chat, Wes. I feel you though. But the running back market is anywhere between $4 to $6 million right now. And right now the Cowboys can literally rescind their contract that they got on Tony Pollard right now and say, you know what, here's the deal from between $6 and $7 million, just above market, and what you want to do. And I believe Tony Pollard would probably entertain that, but the Cowboys are understanding that they just don't have a running back out of Tony Pollard. He is also a wide receiver / weapon. He's a specialized weapon, right?
Yeah, he is a specialized weapon, man. And listen to me. Hey, I love all I love all the content in the comment box. I love everybody that loves their Cowboys enough to agree and disagree, man. If you
Right,
agree,
right,
if
right.
you agree with me, salute, man. If you disagree with me, salute. You want to know why? At least you love your team enough to have some
Yeah,
thought to put behind it. You know what I'm saying? Life is not always about agreeing with folks. Life is about putting the truth out there. And I'm gonna tell y'all something. This is what I've learned about the truth. The truth is like a lion. If you set a lion free, it will defend itself. You know what I'm saying?
yeah.
So I don't be tripping, you know what I'm saying? Because like
Mhm.
either way, we're gonna find out. This time next year, we'll all know who was right or wrong.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
know
It takes a whole year, man. Last
what
year I stood my ground, and then I kind of like, you know what, y'all right. That's when I started the James Washington
I'm saying?
because they will beat me up. Man, we don't need DK Metcalf long. You know, you just going after a name. You know, you just going after a name. The Cowboys, and I said, okay, y'all won. We got James Washington.
Washington. Yeah. So I mean, that's
Yeah,
what life is. That's what life is about. You know what I'm saying? But
yeah, yeah,
listen to
yeah.
me. Listen to me. This is what I will say though. This is what I will say. Right. I don't. These are a couple things that I'm seeing in what I believe. One,
Mhm.
the Dallas Cowboys are theoretically, we're not running a two-back system right now. You know what I'm saying?
Right, right,
Because
right.
financially, if two guys are healthy, Ronald Jones and Tony Pollard are 100% healthy. Tony Pollard makes $10 million. Ronald Jones makes what? How much did it come out? Like
Oh, I don't even have the numbers. Anybody got the numbers for Ronald?
low. It's gonna be low. It's gonna be real low, right? It's gonna be
Pet mineral, minimum,
mineral
cup of
water,
coffee,
mineral water, right?
mineral water. Yeah.
Nothing. Do you think the Dallas Cowboys are going to hand the ball off to a Rondell Jones as much as they handed off to a $10.5 million running back that has 1 year on a deal? He's guaranteed you got to pay him regardless. We are not. We are now a single running back team. We are no longer a dual running back team. And also, you got to think like this: in order to be a dual running back team, you got to actually have two proven running backs. We don't have that. You know what I'm saying? So like now, to be keep it real with you all, I'm actually looking in the draft. You need a guy that's like your starter because that's what I believe in backups. I think your backup should always look like a guy that could be your starter. Why? Because you don't want to get a bell cow running back because guess what? You guys said that didn't work. They just got rid of them. That didn't work in Dallas. So the Cowboys
Mm.
need to be looking for running backs that are like their starter, and that is Tony Pollard. You know what I'm saying? Because until these other running backs proven themselves, you're not gonna tote Tony Pollard out there and then turn around and give the ball 14 times to an unproven running back. You're just not gonna do that. The reason
Yeah.
Zeke
Yeah.
is because you knew who that was. You knew who Tony Pollard was. But you're not gonna do that with some random dude, especially with Tony Pollard on a like. Listen to me. The Cowboys, in my opinion, the next most important thing you have to do is get Tony Pollard off that damn franchise tag. Get him off of it. Because think
Yeah.
about this, Law. If he's on the franchise tag, you know what that does? That puts an onus on the organization to get you on the field. Why?
Yeah. Here's what's going on though. The running back by committee. The Bucks did it right when Rojo was there, Ronald Jones, and he was there running back, and then they went and got Leonard Fournette, who was a guy that was phenomenal in Jacksonville, but had contract disputes, and one can say that he was a shell of himself, etc., and things like that, right? But Rojo and Leonard Fournette, and on top of that, they had a Keyshawn Vaughn who was a scat back for them. And then they also brought in another veteran running back by the name of LaShawn McCoy, who you and I both know that we had the same amount of rushing yards that he have in the Super Bowl, right? You know, so
Right.
Shady was there, but that room was a running back by committee, and you had your bruiser, you had your guy that can bounce it in between the tackles and give you some dirty yards. So I think that the Cowboys looked at that philosophy and they said that they're going to use three running backs. Like last season, if you think of it, Scott for the Eagles, Boston Scott, he ain't nobody to sneeze at, but he ain't no guy you be inferior. Kenneth Gainwell, you know, he was a wide receiver slack guy in college. Now he was transferred to a running back, etc. Played quarterback before. So none of those guys, when I say Sanders, Kenneth Gainwell, Scott, none of those guys you would say, hey, they can block well, right? None of those guys. But you will look at those guys that they use three running backs to utilize it to go against the mindset that all you need is one. And they made it to the Super Bowl. Ultimately, they didn't win the Super Bowl, but that philosophy is prevalent. West Coast scheme is prevalent. We've seen this happen before. I remember LeGarrette Blount.
Yeah,
Yeah, they use him as split back. So I think that what we're stuck in is the old system of Jason Garrett with the one running back, or the old system with Scott Linehan with the one running back, and the actual my guy Kellen Moore with the I'm gonna run out of shotgun stuff with no scheme put into place. I think that Schottenheimer, he's gonna run the hell out of three running backs, and we'll be selling run the damn ball all over the look, send me a few, I'll sell them. We can put run the damn ball season on the hats, and everybody gonna be buying them.
I'm gonna tell you this. This is I'm gonna tell you this right here. Patrick Mahomes, Super Bowl, 21-27, 182 yards, 3 touchdowns, no interceptions.
Right.
Let's see, Super Bowl, 21, 23, 20. He had 29, 43, 2 hold up. AFC Championship game. 29-43, 326, 2 touchdowns, 0 interceptions. The next one, AFC Championship game, 22-30, 195, 2 touchdowns. Patrick Mahomes also, listen to me. When you have a ridiculously above average quarterback, there is a lot of things that you can get away with. They can get away with having a below running game when you have a ridiculously, Patrick Mahomes is probably going to go down as the greatest playoff quarterback. His stats in the playoffs are ridiculous.
Right.
He can't miss. His average QBR is 96, even in a loss. And listen to me. I know we all understand that Dak Prescott is a quarterback, but Dak Prescott ain't no Patrick Mahomes, and I love Dak Prescott. I fight for him to the tooth. But we know that there's a delta between Dak and Patrick. So it's when you have these, and then think about this: LeGarrette Blount, he was also on a team led by who? Tom Brady. So it's if you listen to me, if you have a Patrick Mahomes, there are things that you can legitimately get away from. You know what I'm saying? Think about this. They rebounded from getting rid of Tyreek Hill. We couldn't even rebound from getting rid of Amari Cooper.
Yeah, but here's how I look at this, though. It's all about building the core. And the 2 Super Bowls that the Chiefs won, the quarterback was good, but the running backs, they killed it. People don't even remember D. Williams, the first Super Bowl. Everybody remember Pat Mahomes. And then in the second Super Bowl, yes, if you go back, they had more rushing yards than they ran the ball. But I'm looking at it from these perspectives. Pat Mahomes, yes, he's great, but there were also schemes and things put into place so that Pat Mahomes can be flourishing in those particular lights. Think about it. One of those touchdowns had nothing to do with Pat, had everything to do with scheme. You and I could have caught that ball and walked it in. But I get what you're saying. Pat Mahomes is gold tier. I'm not taking anything away from him. He is that good. But at the same time, it still takes team.
It does take a team. And that's why you should always be trying to build the best team. That's another thing I love about we should never be putting stuff at chance unless you either can't afford it or injury. Those are the type of that's a championship mindset. A championship mindset is we're not going to put that position at chance just so we can see another guy grow. We're not going to do that. We're only going to put it at chances if someone gets hurt or you lose that person in free agency. Somebody just comes and gives a player a mega deal that you just can't match. Then guess what? Then you do this. But it's when you're in a situation, but when it's reasonable money and reasonable things, you need them. And my biggest thing is this: the Dallas Cowboys, you were still a team that lost in the second round of the playoffs. You're not an 8-14 team. I mean, 8-13 team. So you should not be in a process of trying to overhaul your entire offense, because you got to remember, some of these changes are going to work, and realistically, some of these changes are not going to work. And we have to be able to rebound from both of them. So that's why I'm saying, why create? Think about this. You had a natural hole at guard. Why? Because Connor McGovern left. Now you can switch guys around to fill that hole, but we didn't naturally make that hole. That was a hole that free agency created. That created for us. Now think about this. Your wide receiver 2, that's a hole we created. Why? Because you had a wide receiver number 2. Who? CeeDee Lamb. You replaced your number one, but now you don't have a number two. That's a hole you're creating. And I'm just telling you like this. I don't think that Ferguson has the ability, like, because think about this, CeeDee Lamb, it only took him 7 games to figure it out. Okay, I'm the dude. I'm the guy. I'm the guy they're looking at every play. I'm the guy. That Green Bay game, he woke up. All I'm asking is this. Why do we not think that it's not in CeeDee Lamb is a first-round pick, man, that he has the traits and the attributes. The only thing that scares me with, and I will use the word scared because I don't care. I'm not afraid of the word scared.
No word.
You know I'm not going to be overly confident either. You know what I'm saying? No. But my question is this: why don't we take that in consideration? And if in a business, law, that you always need to have a backup plan. My backup plan can't be Ferguson. Okay. And if that doesn't work, Hendershot. Well, we run 12 personnel, so there's even going to be a time when they're both on the field at the same time. You know what I'm saying?
See, all of those are valid points to the degree if you were to keep some of the old. Keep this in mind. Everybody write this down. We have Mike Solari now as the offensive line coach, right? We also have Brian Schottenheimer as the offensive coordinator. Now we're going to have also Mike McCarthy calling plays. Those are 3 different changes with 3 different philosophies. Now, if we were to keep Doug Nussmeier, and if we were to keep Kellen Moore, then I would 1,000 agree with you because some of the philosophy would still be the same. Why get rid of players that fit said philosophy? Now, Mike Solari don't know who Schultz was, right? He don't know anything about Ezekiel Elliott or anything about what was the current or the previous thoughts of the Cowboys offensive plan. This would be a whole new strategy, and they would figure out ways to look at CeeDee Lamb, Brandon Cooks, etc., from a new, fresh sheet of paper. They won't be looking at it from old notes. They have to create their own.
Yeah, and I'm gonna tell you guys this right here, just so we're always on the page. I am always going to be against replacing production with projection when you have money in the bank. The only time you should be replacing production with projection is if it's an injury or you can't afford it. Cowboys got money, so there's no reason for us to be going in having faith. That's all I'm saying, man. You should only have faith in the things you can't see. I don't have to have faith in my kids in the living room because I can freaking hear them, guys. I can hear my kids in the next room. I don't have to have faith in that. I don't feel that you should have to have faith in your tight end for a guy. And think about this. You're asking a guy who only in a tier has only really played a equivalent of 3 games, right? If you put all the time together, it's like 3.5 games to now play 17. Like, we as Cowboy fans, man, we cannot be that like naive to think that there's going to be some type of growth pains.
Like, it's going to be growing pains, but how long did it take for Schultz to get that to that level, right? For us to say,
think about this. It took more than a year.
More than a year, right? So with that being said, you already seen some of that already with Jake Ferguson. So his learning pain may be a whole lot different than, or growing pain may be a whole lot different than Dalton Schultz. Now you still have the draft. You got Dalton Kincaid. You got the LaPorta kid. You got Donnell Washington. You got a lot of names out there that you can pull in to help alleviate some of the pain and still have other pain elsewhere. But I would tell you right now, that even with the amount or immense pain that we have or had out of Dalton Schultz growth, it should be minimized by the fact that now you got veteran coaching, play calling that will be to the table, and that will be Mike McCarthy.
Facts, man. And I'm gonna tell you this right now, man. Like, I just hate putting in business. What I've learned is I don't like putting all my eggs in one basket. I just don't like we're putting all our eggs and tight end in one basket. What I've learned, because I've just failed so many times in business. Like, I've tried so many businesses and they failed so many times. And one thing I've noticed is, like, man, you need to have like first off, if you have a good product that's working, you don't break it down and rebuild it. You improve it. The Dallas Cowboys had one of the stronger, with Dalton Schultz on this team, in that tight end room. And I'm going to tell you guys this like this. In a 17-game season, what does that mean? That means there's going to be times where people don't play good. And there's going to be times where people get injured. So you don't need to have a good tight end. You need to have a good tight end room so that when something happens, or maybe this guy's just not hitting this game, you're able to go to him. Just like with the wide receiver room. You don't judge how good your wide receivers are based on one wide receiver. Because if that was the case, the Las Vegas Raiders have the best wide receivers in football. But that's not not true. Why? Because Devontae Adams is not good enough to supplement for everybody. So that's what I'm saying. Like, we need to get to the point where we are trying to strengthen our rooms. Because think about this. I've already said it, man. In a 17-game season, I can almost guarantee you Ferguson's not playing 17 games, man. Like, these guys, especially think about this, as a tight end, he's actually, listen, as a tight end, you guys understand that he's actually going to be actually doing more tight end stuff than what you guys think that he's the Travis Kelce stuff, like running plays. Like, he's only going to be doing that for probably like 30% of the time. 70% of the time, your tight end is going to have his hand in the dirt, pretending to either pass block or pretending to run block. Like, that's what tight ends do. Like, they're only catching footballs, running on routes. I mean, when the routes are called, but there's a large percent of time that you're not even going to be doing like these receiver things that people are asking for. So that's what I'm asking, like, on play action passes, on things like that, where you had those pickups. They're not gonna have time to grow. They're gonna have to be good right now. And think about
it. Those are facts, but also, with that being said, the Cowboys won't be the only team that missed out on Schultz. It'll be 31 other teams that missed out on Schultz because of the fact that he was out there on the free market and he was available for all 32 teams, but only one team picked him up, and that was the Houston. So if you 1,000% right with that, there will be other teams like, damn, man, we should have gave Schultz that $9 million contract to prove it over there. Because from what you're saying, Schultz, hey, he was that dog. So
no,
it's going to be a situation.
I'm not saying he's that dog. I'm not saying he's
right.
I'm saying that Dalton Schultz is our dog.
Okay,
like, we gotta, like, as a Cowboy fans, we gotta stop comparing our guys to everybody else in the world, because you guys got to remember, as much as y'all say he's not Jason Kelce, unfortunately, his mom only had one of him. You know what I'm saying? So there's theoretically only one Jason Kelce, and only one team has the luxury of having him. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So it's like, and listen to me. At the end of the day, the crazy thing about it is, we going in a year from now, we all gonna find out.
We're gonna find out. And then hey, you got up into trade deadline. If it don't work, man, the Cowboys can shop around and say, hey, let's go put in a first-round draft pick or a second-round draft pick for Kyle Pitts or someone. They still will have opportunities to re-solidify that tight end room if it don't work out for Hendershot and Ferguson and Sean McEwen and whoever else we draft in the draft. There will still be opportunities and chances for the Cowboys to pick up that tight end that they missing.
Yeah, because, I mean, if you think about this, you think about the 49ers who invented the West Coast offense, who are like the fathers of it. You know, if you think about the greatest plays from the 49ers, they were not really tight. They weren't our receivers that were making those plays. Like, if you think about the greatest play to ever be the 49ers over the Cowboys, that was a tight end that made that play. That wasn't a wide receiver.
Dwight Clark, yeah.
Tight end. So it's like, you know, the West Coast offense is based highly strong on a tight end understanding what he's doing. So it's like, that's just what we just got. You know, there's two types of fans. There's types of fans that believe that the Delta isn't that strong, and then there's fans like myself who are just wait and see guys. Like, I'm a wait and see guy. Like, that's just what I mean. And listen to me, I respect you guys' opinion to say it,
right,
to say I'm right or wrong, but I am just a wait and see guy. And I'm gonna tell you, if you listen, Law, tell them about training camp, man. How many times have you been at training camp and you see something with your eyes and you be telling them on the nation, man, I'm seeing this with my eyes? Like Deron Bland. We was at training camp a long time. We was, man, this dude's pretty damn good, bro. Not gonna lie.
Number 30 out there. I was like, man, wait a minute. I don't remember Anthony Brown being that explosive out there. And then they're like, no, that ain't Anthony Brown, dog. He changed the number to 3. That's Deron Bland, you know.
Deron Bland. So it's like, there's listen to me. And it's like, you know, once you see something, it's hard to unsee it. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Like, it's just hard to unsee it. So the hope, honestly, is because we have question marks and we have things that we are creating. The hope is that they can fill that gap, because I desperately, you know, to the success of this team, you're gonna need one of your tight ends to be. You're gonna, in a West Coast based offense, you're gonna need one of your tight ends to be special. Like, if you really know the West Coast concept, your tight end is a guy, he moves around. He moves around. They use the tight end to dictate. And I'm going to tell you, in the West Coast offense, they don't a lot of times use the outside receiver to determine if they're in man or in coverage. They use the tight end. So it's like your tight end. So think about this. If you bring Ferguson to the left side and he's on the right, and they show he's in man and it's a pass play, he now has to win on his route. So it's not.
Yeah, yeah, but if you look at it like let's say for example, if you look at all of the tight ends that Mike McCarthy ever had, they were of the style of Jake Ferguson and Peyton Hendershot. Remember Jared Cook? Remember what they did with Jimmy Graham for a cup of coffee? Remember Martellus Bennett when he came over there to the Green Bay? Or more and more guys, man, that when you start looking back at the way that they use their tight ends, even the way that we seen how you're talking about when they motion the tight end to dictate which to see whether or not they are man or off or playing loose zone. Well, those principles in West Coast, the tight end must be able to be line in line to block two and to peel out and get upfield. So I think that even with what we got now, I think that they would mask some of the inefficiencies if Ferguson got a lot of those or Hendershot got a lot of those by hitting your underneath your shallow routes with Cooks or hybrid looks with Semi Fihoko, which he mentioned last year that he wanted to see, as well as CD Lamb. I think that they will be in their bag with this tight end stuff.
Facts. And I'm gonna ask you guys, I'm gonna tell you this right here. We're gonna leave this Schultz stuff alone after this. Because y'all about to hate me. It's all, but you know what I love though? You know what I love though? This is what I love though. This is what I love though. If I'm right, it's 630 folks on here, man. That's all I'm saying. If I end up being right, that's all I'm saying. I stood on my line. I want to be wrong though. I'm getting some shirts that's printed up that say West Coast, you were wrong though. Because I want to be wrong on this. I truly do want to be wrong because I want to be successful. But listen, if for folks that ask, has Dalton Schultz ever played in a West Coast offense? All I'm going to say is one word: Stanford. Okay, Stanford. Stanford. Google Stanford and West Coast offers. That's it. All right. Next thing, man. Let's talk about this because we got about a couple more minutes before we wrap this thing up, man. More, and we talked about folks that the Cowboys have gotten rid of or not on this team. Let's talk about a guy that's on this team and what his impact is going to be to this team, and that is Mr. Brandon Cooks, man. Real quick, what are your thoughts, or not even your thoughts, what are your effects that you think that you're going to get from a Brandon Cooks being added to this team?
Well, taking advantages of the one-on-one, making teams pay, you're going to have your safety deeper. And because everybody know nobody wanted to get beat over the top. And that keeps a guy out of the box. So that creates running lanes for said running back now because they got to pay attention to the wide receiver that can take the top off the defense. And you can get busy work from the other wide receivers underneath. Right. Remember, West Coast offense is pretty much kind of like what the 49ers been doing to us for years. Debo, short to intermediate routes, Brandon Ayuk, your deep threat, and then your third down guy, Jennings over there. So we got all of those things that I just mentioned on our team. So now you can finesse work with Brandon Cooks because he can pretty much line on the outside and the inside. So his impact is phenomenal. Yes, he's 5'10", but when that ball is in the air, he's 6'10".
Absolutely. This is what I like about him. This is what I like about it. Dallas Cowboys have never understood this concept. When you are building a wide receiver room, because remember, we don't want a wide receiver. We want a wide receiver room because they can always double team him and take him out the game. When you're building a wide receiver room, you need to build your wide receiver room like an NBA starting five. You need to have five good guys, but you need to get five guys that all look differently and all do different roles. You know what I'm saying? Because what does it benefit you to have 5 CD Lambs? I know it sounds good on Madden, but in real life, you need guys that can stretch the field and do other things. So I like the fact that you have a guy who does something totally different than nobody else on this team that automatically makes him what? Not irreplaceable, but it gives him a sense of value in this offense. So I know he's going to be used. Why? Because when you bring in guys, like one thing about these, when you bring in guys that kind of have the same skill set, like T.Y. Hilton, like, I kind of understand why T.Y. Hilton didn't get as many balls because T.Y. Hilton's game and CD's game are kind of similar. So if you can get the ball to CD, why wouldn't you just got to get the ball to CD? You know what I'm saying? But now you have a guy that totally different type of play guy that you can call plays for and routes that he can win on. So I love that right there. Something else that, I like about him too is, this is a guy that at some point of the season, because CeeDee Lamb, you guys already know, I believed in order to be a number one receiver, you got to get double coverage. If you don't get double coverage, then you're not a number one receiver in my opinion. You know what I'm saying? If the league doesn't respect you enough to put a hang of safety over you, they feel that they can tie you up with one guy, you're not a number one receiver. CeeDee Lamb was getting double covered by the end of the season. So the NFL has recognized that he's what? A number one receiver in some aspect. You need a guy on that opposite side that you can pull away so that you can pull that coverage away from CeeDee Lamb. You know what I'm saying? So that these defenses can be honest. And I think that's another thing that you're also going to get with Brandon Cooks, man. And then I think also, just most importantly, if the Dallas Cowboys are able to run the ball, the Dallas Dak, you're going to have to let that thing go, man. Because if you go look at Brandon Cooks' stats right now, if you go look at his highlights right now, man, almost every highlight of Brandon Cooks running down the field is off play action. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, you can play action, because what you want to do is, like I say, if you get that safety to take a step forward, it's trouble. It's over with for him. It's going to be hard for him to recover, especially someone with that type of speed. I see Brandon Cooks as a younger Ty, by the way. So when I look at those two things there, and what Ty was able to do for us with that cup of coffee, well, with a communion cup of coffee, is the fact that he didn't have a chance and opportunity to have OTAs training, off-season training with the Cowboys, being at Oxnard, being on the same page in practice with Dak Prescott. So they had to rip the Band-Aid off real quickly and throw him out there to say, all right, man, you're 33 years of age, put your wisdom and understanding and knowledge out there on the field. And we had to learn on the fly or build the plane while it was in the air. So now you got Brandon Cooks, who's younger than Ty, right? That's going to have OTAs, training camp, and beyond here, and they should be on the same page when the season kick off. And you will see teams saying, "Damn, do I double team now, CeeDee Lamb, or do I try to bracket cover Brandon Cooks?" Hey, and then guess who else? Pressure bust pipes, right? But pressure is also going to try to find its lowest level to get the escape from, right? Yep. So now all of a sudden, with less pressure, Michael Gallup snagging the ball out of there. I would not be surprised if Michael Gallup get 1,000 yards this year.
I mean, and think about this, you have Brandon Cooks, who's now going to be Brandon Cooks in every situation that you could pretty much, except for when he was probably in Los Angeles. He's always been a guy that's always gotten the number one or the best corner. So now you're in a situation where Brandon Cooks is unless you just gonna put a number two corner on CeeDee Lamb, and if he does that, then Dak Prescott take advantage of that every single time. But now you can actually play mismatch football. Like, that's one of the importance of having wide receivers that all do different things, because when you have wide receivers that do different things, you just can't put any old corner on any old body. You know what I'm saying? You have to actually match those guys up. So now you have a guy that you're gonna make these, like, my thing as an offense is this, like an offensive coordinator, my job is to always put stress on the defense. I want the defense stressing. I want them, when I come out there to set my play, I want them to have to change their defensive play. Like, they have to change their defensive play. If I can't get them to change their defense, then guess what? They feel confident in what they called before they even saw what I was doing. That's not realistic. That's not good. That's not good play calling. Now you have guys that, man, and what I really want to see, man, what I really want to see is the Cowboys, like, you will literally be able to line CeeDee Lamb on the left-hand side, bring, if they're in some type of zone coverage, bring that boy Cooks on the other side of, if they're not, have these guys playing right underneath each other. Like, it's going to be in what you're really trying to do is you're trying to get Dak to be in a situation where he can have more wide open throws. Like,
and you know what? And I'm just going to touch on this real quickly while it's on my mind.
Go ahead.
And it was a strategy that the Cowboys used with Prime on the defensive side. Did you know that they put Dion on the number 2 wide receiver and put LB or Larry Brown on the number 1 wide receiver and roll coverage over the top that way? Now, quarterbacks dropping back, your first read is already taken away because you got roll coverage and you got the DB on them like white on rice. And now your second guy, he's locked down with Prime. So I think that even from a defensive strategy, Gilmore still may be on the number 1 wide receiver with with him by himself, or Gilmore might be just doing that with Diggs now on the number 2 wide receiver with roll coverage over the top. It's gonna create, or vice versa. It's gonna create so much chaos. That's why it's so important that we got a third option out of Gallup or Jalen Tolbert, because teams can't even play that game with us.
Hey, Log, not to cut you off, but bruh.
Talk to me, man.
Training camp 101s is about to be great.
Bland gonna eat.
Training camp 101s, bruh. Training camp 101s is about to be cracking, bruh.
Crack a cow. You know what I'm saying?
You got CeeDee Lamb, Brandon Cooks. You know what I mean? Up there going up against Bland, Diggs, Gilmore. Bruh, listen to me. You tell me how Jalen Tolbert doesn't get better playing against those 3 dudes every single day.
Shoot. He gonna have to. Hey, Jalen Tolbert gonna have to beat out Dennis Houston. See, Dennis Houston, like, yeah, Jalen, you my boy, you my dog. But it's revenge, man. I'm coming for that spot. So it goes down to even look. We're gonna have so much competition on the back end. Brandon Smith, you remember that big boy, Brandon Smith. My guy, Dontario Drummond, as well as Antonio Callaway, who is like a Brandon Cooks, but we got Antonio Callaway on reserve, just sitting there like, hey, coach, let me get some of these DBs. And Simi Fihoko with the ponytail hanging out of the back, he might want to cut it off because he gonna need every speed he can use to get separation. It's gonna be nice. This training camp gonna be nice.
It's about to be cracking, bro.
Yeah.
It's about to be cracking, bro. And it's like in like at that, man, that's gonna be lovely, bro. That's gonna be lovely, man. Because you literally Cowboys got 3 deep, bro. So it's like even your 3rd string receiver is gonna get some work.
Right. It's about to be cracking.
Your 3rd receiver, who's ever playing 3rd receiver, has to line up against Bland. It's gonna be some work, bro.
It's gonna be, and whoever, ever we draft, and I know Willie McClay, he's already doing like this, the Birdman hand rubs. I know it.
Hey, man.
Hey, y'all thought Dak was throwing interception last year. Shoot, it's picked off in practice. Because I want Dak to let it hang, man. Let's continue to try to squeeze those balls into the wrong spots, because those boys, and see what you can do in this West Coast, because I don't want to hear West Coast talking about, hey, the reason why Dak can't throw is because he's missing Dalton Schultz.
Damn. Hey, man, they are. But listen to me. Listen to me. hey, listen to me. If you believe West Coast is wrong about this Dalton Schultz, I'm dropping some T-shirts. And it simply says one thing. It says, West Coast, you are wrong, man. I need y'all to support this, man, because I'm really hoping I'm wrong on this, man. So make sure when I drop that link for all that folks that believe that West Coast is wrong on this Dalton Schultz, make sure you guys grab yourself a T-shirt. You feel me? Support the nation. Support the nation, man. But yo, Law, man, hey, man, we've been on here for about an hour, 20 minutes, man. I know you still got to get to the final word, man. Listen, man, I just want to listen to me. One thing I love about this show, man, is everybody gets to, gets their things out, man. And I love it, man. And today's show was very, very enlightening. You know what I'm saying? We had moments when we agreed, and we had moments when we didn't agree. You know what I'm saying? And I'm going to tell you this right now. Listen to me. If this was your first time hearing me, don't trip. It take a couple weeks for me to grow on you. You know what I'm saying? But at the end of the day, just know this, man. I'm a Cowboy fan through and through. And at the end of the day, I believe that, man, the Cowboys got to win it right now, bro. Everything. I want you guys to always know that about me. No matter what it is, at the end of the day, you guys know that West Coast just desperately wants to win a Super Bowl now.
Ooh, I gotta hit me some merch there. Ow. Law is betting on Ferguson. You know what I'm saying?
There we go.
Oh man, hey, we organically made some merch out of this conversation. Law is betting on Ferguson. Law Ferguson. Yeah.
And this is what and the new shirt is just got updated. It's gonna be West Coast, you hella wrong. Hey, but listen to me. Listen to me, man. Hey, but hey, Law, man, I appreciate you always letting me come to your house and put my feet up, man. Hey, Law, you a real one, man, because you know my boy Law understands that bringing me on the page sometimes there's gonna be some craziness, man, in that comment, man. And my boy Law, no matter what, always rocks with me, man. So, man, Law, I'm gonna tell you, you one of the most solid in the game, man. And I always got mad, mad love for you, my brother. I appreciate you, my guy.
Man, come on, man. We wouldn't look if we agree with everything. This would be not like a day run bland show, but it would be a bland show, right? It'd be like you agree with me, I agree with you, man. It'd be like, man, we need some god doggone conflicts. But I love it because it's organic, right? It ain't like I hit you up and say, hey, all right, I want you to talk about, Dalton Schultz, and I'm gonna talk about Ferguson. You know what I'm saying? And then we have all our clip baits and clips and stuff like that to go back and forth with each other and notes. No, it was organic. I love this. The nation love it. I can tell by the results. This video gonna be well over 1,000 because the nation hear us and they love to see what we thinking about. And those convinced against their will is of the same opinion still. So we are not out here trying to change your mind, So, hey, it is what it is. Let's continue to grind. Y'all know where to find and follow me at Law Nation Sports. I'm everywhere. Just type that in on your Google machines and you will see my face, name, and logo just sitting there like, yeah. Let's go.
Man. Hey, and I appreciate y'all for tuning in. You guys already know what it is, man. Never look down because the stars up. Peace.